Well, look at that. It's a handle that is the Steam star of the Audrey Extravaganza 5, and who gets voted for by my lovely patrons as the star of the next model showcase? Sir Handel.
No, it's Peter Sam.
Head on over to my Patreon to vote for what rolling stock you would like to see featured in a video next. The poll is now live. Right, it's a happy little engine that we'll be talking about today. Peter Sam is everyone's friend. He's a nice lad. And this stems from how the Reverend W. Audrey first personified the real loco Edward Thomas of the Talyllyn Railway. Having worked with this engine myself, I can confirm number 4 is a delight. It steams really well, has a chirpy energy about it, and can't do everything, but will certainly have a go. The controls are all very conveniently laid out in the cab. It's easy to clean, and looks good in quite a few different paint schemes. Not necessarily my favourite loco of the fleet, but one that I'd definitely go to if I had to work with only one engine ever. An office day in and day out. Good job, Kerr Stewart. The first time that I featured Peter Sam as a 009 scale model, I stole one. The Jam Tram kindly let me borrow his version, which used a 3D printed body shell of the TV series prop. It was extremely light, so I filled in wire in every space available to weigh it down. But to be fair, being light on its wheels is also a trait of the real tattoo class. When the Bachmann Peter Sam came out, I was very excited to finally make my own version. Though really, I was quite prepared to not even bother. The Bachmann model is based on the CGI version, but they did a really good job on it. There is the usual detail on the shell itself, some welcome and some a nuisance. The handrails are all flat, but then it has plenty of rivets. The running board is mostly flat as well, but then there's detail packed everywhere else that is reminiscent of Edward Thomas. There's the door on the back of the cab, the screw for the handbrake, and the injectors on both sides. For anyone wanting to get into modelling 009, Talyllyn or Skarloey, this is a great starter engine. I took off the original face, painted a black piece of card to fill in the gap, and added a range of 3D printed expressions instead. What most people buy this for is not that sweet little smile, but to crush his dreams and take his chassis. I can't believe I'm saying this talking about a model steam engine, but it's all-wheel drive. The two driving wheels are both powered as you'd expect. But unlike their earlier Skarloey model, the trailing wheel is also fitted to the motor. This means that it's much stronger and less likely to slip. Unrealistic perhaps, but as it's a solid disc, you can barely tell that the unpowered wheels are spinning anyway. So, 4Ds wasted no time in making a new body shell for kit builders. In fact, they made 4. Well, number 4, but 4 variants for it too. There's the Corris tattoo as was originally built, as it ran in the early days on the Talyllyn, a version with the short-lived Giesel ejector chimney, and the current day Edward Thomas. Naturally, all Thomas fans go straight for Era 2, with the special funnel. In reality, the Giesel was more of a publicity stunt, and wasn't that popular with the Talyllyn, who have reverted to using the original style chimney instead. You can find the Giesel on display at the Narrow Gauge Railway Museum at Towyn Wharf. The aim was to improve drafting on the fire and save on coal, which seems to have mysteriously worked well on Sodor. Peter Sam has never had the chimney changed back. I suppose Audrey wrote into the story that it had changed the engine's performance, so he couldn't go back on that in a few books on and say that he took it away from him. That is bad character development. As with 4D's model of Dolgok, you can buy versions with the static chassis included, so that you can have them as display pieces rather than working models. These are available at the Talyllyn Railway online shop. The print is so fine that I didn't need to sand it down at all, and it fits perfectly snug on the chassis right out of the box. That means you can get straight onto painting. As usual, I used Tamiya Grey Primer on the model itself, along with a few others that will be in model showcases when you vote for them. This was before Edward Thomas went into the Kerr Stuart Grey livery, which could have ended in a very different look for my model. I painted matte black acrylic on the frames and in the cab as a good neutral colour. For the main paint, I chose Railmatch LNER Darlington Green, testing it on less seen parts to make sure that it looked okay. Satisfied with that, 3 light coats by hand was enough to have him looking green. Tamiya masking tape was then positioned for the nice and easy straight lines. Vermilion red acrylic was hand painted for that, carefully wiping away any errors with a cocktail stick. The buffer beams, safety valves, regulator and reverser all had the same. Rust-Oleum gold was used for the brass, and Old Penny bronze for the chimney cap. The smoke box on the tattoo class tends to burn very hot, and goes a pure grey colour, which I made sure stood out compared to the other dark parts on the model. Shiny metal parts like the buffers are silver, with oil smudges added on top. 4Ds included very small clear inserts for the cab spectacles, and the cab roof simply slots into place. It's best to leave this until the end, of course, so it's easy to finish the cab interior, or leave it cabless if you really wished. I found that I didn't take many photos of making Peter Sam because I was clearly having too much fun, and was surprised how easy it was to complete from start to finish. Just in case I was getting ahead of myself, I made sure to fill Deluxe Materials Liquid Gravity into all of the empty spaces, learning from before. This will help to give the model some extra adhesion, and make the resin less likely to warp. On that theme, I have found that over time the rear of the cab has slightly bent out of shape. I used a light PVA glue to hold it together the first time, so that's probably why. I believe that 4Ds have since updated this model so that there are little pips that hold the two parts together. On the improved model, there is also now a sunroof on the present day Edward Thomas. That wasn't there when this first came out. Another neat addition is the imitation of the Hackworth valve gear. It doesn't move, but makes the rods look more complete. I might just have to make a new Peter Sam with these updated features. For now, this model was finished with some etched brass plates by Light Railway Stores, including Kerr Stuart Works plates. The faces were designed by Rexecutions, painted in the same primer used on the model. The eyes, eyebrows and mouths were painted by hand. In full scale, the smokebox can be a bit annoying as you need a spanner to open it, But on this scale, it's a blessing, because it means that the faces can be added straight onto the flat surface. This makes it much easier to run it either as a Railway Series character or not, or even meeting in the middle, with the Talyllyn Railway's new faces for the characters. The NEM couplings provided with the Bachmann model are also removable in the same way, and the body shell is easily swapped out on the chassis, making maintenance simple, just like the real engine. The motor is extremely reliable, and I had a great time filming with this model when making Clever Little Engine. But I don't need to talk on about that. Here, you can see for yourself. Here's Peter Sam, and he's running this line. And that is how I made my model of Peter Sam. He could use an update with the new techniques and new modifications, but aren't we all spoilt in a world where we can buy versions of these engines so easily? Modelling in 009 scale has come a long way. If you've enjoyed this model showcase, like this Peter Sam, share this Peter Sam, as the world is a happier place with him in it. We're looking at some rolling stock in the next round, so follow the link in the description. Vote for your favourite, and I will see you next time. A big thank you to the following channel patrons: Alex Goodman, GBH Train, D0280 Falcon, Sean Tempest, Random Thomas Fan, Dark White 73, Andrew Dyack, Reese Lee Walter, Ryan RTS, Ewan Pentland, Steam Power 4472, Jude 72, Firewind 10, Luneacres Photography, Mario Sonic 64, Elias, Soda Fox Art, TJOC 9891, Tamsy, and Insane Edward.